Hello everyone. Today is March 31st, 2020 at 5:45 p.m. Which means that today is the release date for Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi, the sixth and final book in the Shatter Me series. The book right here. I just got it in the mail maybe 10 minutes ago, and I am having an existential crisis. So I have not even cracked open the first page of this book. I have read the first chapter because it was released before today, and this is a very last minute video. I was not planning on doing this at all, but I am, and I'm really excited about it. This might just be a compilation of different stuff and a little review at the end. I don't know, I really like these videos where it's just like a sort of compilation of just random thoughts and clips. So that is what I'm going to be doing, and I am going to start this book. Sadly, I do not have any clips of me opening the book, but I am going to do a little theories right now. So if you don't care about my theories and you just want to skip to when I actually begin reading, you can go to this time that is on the screen right now. Okay, so spoilers are starting for all of the Shatter Me books, excluding Imagine Me, and also all the novellas. So if you haven't read those, then please leave, read them, and then come back. So I don't have a ton of theories. Some of my main ones are, like, pretty popular ones. So I think Emmeline will die, for sure. Like, for sure. I thought she was gonna die in Defy Me, but she didn't. I actually don't even know what this book is about, because the synopsis is super, super vague. But I am very excited to see, obviously. But, yeah, that is my main thing. Emmeline will die. Also, I looked, and I accidentally spoiled myself for two just random lines in the book. I read the last line of, like, one of the last chapters. That was sort of a spoiler. It wasn't, like, a huge spoiler. It's not affecting my reading experience. And then also, in, like, the middle of the book, there was just a random Kenji line that said no one had come to the funeral. I don't know, it was mentioning a funeral. I don't know who is dying. I don't know if it is Emmeline. I don't know if it is someone else. Maybe it's Adam? I don't know. I swear I do not know. I think Layla is alive. I think Anderson is probably alive. Wouldn't be surprised. I think Juliet and Warner are gonna have their memories wiped again. Probably, just based on the other books in the series. I think, as of deaths, I don't think there will be too many. Like, honestly, I don't think any of the main characters are gonna... well, she said that Juliet and Warner are not gonna die. I also don't think Kenji is going to die. I don't think Zira is going to die. I don't think any of our, like, main cast is gonna go. Maybe just some randos. Like, maybe Adam will die. Maybe Adam will actually get it this time. But I really hope he doesn't, because... I mean, I don't really have an opinion either way. I don't want him to, because I feel like there should be a good moment between Adam, Warner, and James. So that's what I'm hoping. What are other things that I'm hoping? I hope Emmeline and Juliet have a sweet moment. I hope Juliet and Adam have a sweet moment. I hope Adam has a good arc in this book. This book is 450 pages, so I am excited for what is to come in those 450 pages. It's probably going to be, like, actually in realistically, it's probably 370 pages, just because of all the random stuff, random blank pages. I don't know why Warner does not have a POV in this book. She said it was spoilery and she couldn't answer it, so I don't have a prediction for that. But, let's talk about the end of Defy Me. So, at the end of Defy Me, there was a big, like, explosive thing that happened, where the world is actually just an illusion, and Emmeline is the one that is sort of creating the illusion of this world that it is drab and gray, and that everything is dead, like all the wildlife and nature and stuff. I don't have any predictions for what's gonna happen For that, I really hope Lena is not in this book. I do hope there are other characters that we met in her story. Sorry, my camera shut off because my memory card is full. But Valentina, I think she's gonna show back up. Lena, which, we're not gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna stop theorizing and finally get to reading the book, and I will pop in with some random thoughts as I have them. So, goodbye for now, and I'm gonna start. Okay, so I'm on page 35 of Imagine Me, and I'm gonna stop reading. Like, I'm forcing myself to stop reading tonight, because I want this book to count for one of the Owls challenges, like the Owls Magical Readathon, and that doesn't start until tomorrow. And also, I want to savor this book as long as I can, but I might read a little more tonight and cheat a little bit, but I want this to count for read a book where it's, like, dark outside the whole time. I also will hopefully be vlogging the Owls, so this will be weird how I'm gonna vlog this and also vlog the Owls. You know, it's gonna be an interesting time. So, I might start the Owls after I finish reading this. Maybe I won't even count this. I don't know, I have to decide. Anyway, I'm gonna go and check back in later next time I have an update. So, goodbye until then. So, it is the next day. It's like 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. And I'm already on page 150 of Imagine Me. So last night I read like 30 pages, and then today I just sat down, and I was only gonna read up to page 100, but then I was like, nope, and I just kept reading. But I'm gonna try to, like, force myself not to read more than 100 pages at a time, because I obviously want to savor this for as long as humanly possible. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. Basically, all that's happened is, like, okay, I need to, like, talk about this. So, basically, Juliet, like, has been possessed by Emmeline? Okay. But basically, we haven't really gotten anything. But we haven't really gotten anything else. It's sort of just been, like, meandering for a little while. We will have, like, a 1-page Juliet chapter and, like, a 20-page Kenji chapter, which, his POV is fine in this book. Like, at least stuff is happening, but right now we're basically just dealing with Juliet, and she is having, like, these visions or something, and things are happening, and something just happened at the end of her last chapter, and it said, where is it? Yeah, she said, "A man I don't recognize is at the door, one hand on the doorframe, gasping for breath. They're here," he says. "They found us. They're here. Jenna is dead." And then it was a Kenji chapter, and I just read that, and basically, like, what? Who is Jenna? We've never heard this name before in this entire series, ever. I don't know who this is, but I really want to figure it out, but I'm, like, forcing myself to put this down for, like, a couple minutes. I'll be back to it in like half an hour, probably. But then, the last Kenji chapter, it was like, they went to go fight Anderson, and then, like, Warner put himself in front, like, he was gonna exchange himself for the hostages, or, like, something for Juliet. I don't know, I wasn't really, like, paying attention, because I was just too anxious as to what was gonna happen. And then Nazira and Kenji both got shot. Also, I said in the beginning of this video, I think Anderson is still alive. I don't know what was going through my head, but he's obviously still alive. There was never anything on the end of Defy Me that mentioned that he was dead, because in Reveal Me, it is, like, revealed that he captured Adam and James and Lena and the other person who I forget already. But yes, that is basically what's been going on so far. I don't know what's going on with Emmeline. We had, like, an italicized page, and I'm thinking it's from Emmeline's perspective, because, like, Emmeline is in Juliet's head now, they're sharing a body. Maybe it's Emmeline's perspective speaking through Juliet, and maybe there is something else going on, because I'm suspicious. Also, there was a scene with Adam from Juliet's perspective. Juliet's perspective is just, like, so weird. Like, I'm so confused, because nothing is making sense and she's in this like fog fever dream state. So that's really fun to read about. But yeah, I'm gonna go take a break and probably go outside, and then I will check back in later once I've read more. Okay, so I'm just now getting around to filming this clip because I was crying for like half an hour before. The things that are happening in this book are just so intense and so different from the other Shatter Me books that I'm just like, and not different in a bad way, like honestly different in a good way. I am weirdly loving this book. Sort of all throughout my reading of Defy Me, I was sort of just like, okay, like I was very lukewarm about it, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this book, and I'm actually liking Kenji's POV, and I don't mind that Warner isn't in this, like his POV isn't in this. But the chapter that I just read, the last 3 chapters that I just read, had me crying. Well, technically the last 2 Juliet chapters that I read actually had me crying, and I never cry when reading books. There was literally a tear stain on my book. Like, that has never happened to me before. Ever. And it was sort of just because Juliet, like, throughout the book, basically, like, when it's her chapter, like, this is how the book started. It said Ella, and then it was crossed out, and then it said Juliet. And my camera's about to die. And then, for, like, the first 150 pages of this book, it said Ella and Juliet, and they were both crossed out. But for the last 2 chapters that I read, Ella was the one that was crossed out, because she is sort of reverting back to her original self as Juliet in the beginning of Shatter Me. Kind of. Basically, she is just so broken and alone, and she was taken by Anderson, and they are in Oceania, I think. I think they're in Oceania. But I'm honestly not completely sure, and because it's not super clear, and basically he's just like, what if I told you to jump through that window? And she was like, I would do it with pleasure. And he was like, what if I told you to do it without using your powers and just for my own pleasure? And she was like, and she says, I would do it with pleasure, sure. And then he basically just brings out this random guy named Darius, and she kills him. Well, she doesn't kill him, she uses her power to, like, fling him against the wall, and then she, like, attacks him with her power. And then, literally, at the end, she says, it says, how do you feel, he asked, disappointed, sir, his eyebrows pulled together. Why disappointed? I glanced at Darius. Because he's still alive, sir, I didn't complete the task. Anderson's face breaks into a smile so wide it electrifies his features. He looks young, he looks kind, he looks wonderful. My God, he says softly, you're perfect. Because he's basically turning Juliet into his puppet. And I just feel like I'm reading Shatter Me again. And it makes me want to cry. Because it's like all the character development that she's gone through is sort of being diminished right now. And it said, there was a line, it was like dopamine flows through my veins or something, or like flows in my brain, and I was just like, I don't know if her memory has actually been wiped, because he was like, what about your friends? And she was like, I don't have any. And he was like, what about your boyfriend? And she was like, I don't have any. So I don't know if she just is acting like like her memory is gone, or if he actually took away her memories. I don't know, maybe I'm just not paying enough attention. But I am doing so terrible at vlogging. I'm like reading 100 pages and then vlogging and not actually reacting in real time. I will try to react in real time. When I have a reaction, I will try to pull out the camera. But right now it's about to die. Also, there was a line, and it was like kind of out of place, but I kind of thought it was interesting as well. If I can find it, which... I I can't find the line, but basically the line literally read shatter me, and I was just like, okay, Tahereh Mafi, we get it. You did a little thing in there referencing book 1. It literally said shatter me, like that was the entire line, and I was like, okay, we get it. So, it is like the end of the day, and I am like 360 pages into Imagine Me. I read like up to page 360 like before dinner. I just didn't update because I was too lazy. And once again, I'm sorry that today was so terrible. I was so terrible at vlogging, but I promise I will try to be better tomorrow. And even now as I'm saying that, I know that I probably won't be, but I will talk about what I read then tomorrow, because I'm not reading anymore tonight, so I'll talk about what I read in the time that since I last updated you. That doesn't make any sense, but it will make sense. I just wanted to update you before the day was over. I'm savoring this book as long as possible. I did want to finish it today, but then I was like, nah. So I will be finishing this book tomorrow, and I will be talking about like the last 100 pages that I read tomorrow morning. Hello, so I look terrible, but it is the next day, obviously. And I said last night that I would update you, but basically, last night I got up to page 363, and I haven't read any more, so because I wanted to do this update first, and I knew if I read more I would just end up finishing the book, but I'm gonna read more after I do this update. But basically, what has happened is that Juliet, not much has happened with her. I mean, she met her dad, Max, because he did not die at the end of Defy Me. And she is basically just, like, under this, she's under Anderson's control, basically. And so, now, she, like, doesn't recall who Max is, and she's just, like, going with the flow. And basically, with Kenji and Warner and Nazira and, like, Nuria, they're all there, and they are going to try to find Juliet, because they think she's in Oceania again. And they, Nuria, who's Castle's daughter, is basically like, if we find Juliet, and they have turned her into Emmeline, we have to kill her. And they're all like, okay. Oh, also, what just happened, I like totally forgot this happened, but basically, Ibrahim, who is the Supreme Commander of Asia, he came to where Juliet and Anderson are, and where also Max is, and he was basically, like, showing her around, and then she finds this aquarium, basically, and then she, like, goes closer, and then she's, like, lost, so she's basically diverged from where Ibrahim is, and she sees a hand on the glass, and then it goes away, which, as we know from Defy Me, is Emmeline, but since Juliet has kind of had her memory erased, it's just like, who is this girl, or who is this hand, who does it belong to, I'd like to know. And then, Ibrahim is like, come with me, and she says, yes, sir, and then, as they're walking, it says, when we walk through the darkened laboratory into a blindingly bright circular room, I know I'm in the right place, because something is wrong, someone is dead. And that's where I stopped reading. But basically, I need to applaud Tahereh Mafi for doing this character development with Juliet and her name, because right now, as I said before, when it's her chapters, it doesn't just say Juliet, and it doesn't just say Ella, it says Ella, Ella's crossed out, and then it says Juliet, because right now she's sort of retreating back to who she was when she was Juliet, you know. And so I'm excited to see how her character is going to progress. There's like literally less than 100 pages left in this book, and I'm terrified, and it's like even less than 100 pages because of all like the chapter, like literally 3 pages of just empty space. So realistically I probably have like 50 to 70 pages of this book left, and I swear to you, if I have a reaction to something on the page, I will bring my camera. I'm literally going to put it right here because that's where I'm reading, so that I remember to do it. So, I'm gonna go finish Imagine Me. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, wow, I'm really looking rough right now, but I forgot to mention, sorry, I'm just like moving my string, that Kenji right now is like Warner, and Azira are like going to Oceania, and they had this plan, and then something didn't go right, and then Azira just freaking yeeted away from Warner and Kenji, and so that's where I'm picking up, because I'm reading Kenji chapter right now. So yeah. Okay, so right now, apparently, Warner and Kenji are like being caught on the security cameras. So apparently, everyone knows that, or like everyone in the compound knows that Warner and Kenji and Azira are coming to save Juliet, and Juliet is like, they're like, oh, we need to find a new host. Excuse me? They need to find a new host, basically, to, like, put Emmeline's brain into, or, like, to replace Emmeline with, and then now we're basically, like, just, I'm so confused, I need to know what's gonna happen, but basically, it was like, friends, I have friends, and then, like, Juliet saying this, and then Kenji's just like, hey, and that was, like, the end of the chapter. So Kenji just called Juliet Robot J, and I'm just like, same. Okay, so I just read a couple chapters, and I'm gonna talk about it, like, once I finish the book, like, I'm gonna talk about everything that I read, but I just read a Kenji chapter, and it was right after a Juliet chapter, and for, like, most of the, like, for the beginning of the book, it said Ella crossed out to Juliet, and then Ella and Juliet were crossed out, and it was, now it's, like, Ella was crossed out and Juliet was not crossed out, but now it says Ella, and then in parentheses, Juliet. I knew I could count on Tahereh Mafi not to do the name change in a cringy way, and I think she pulled it off. I haven't read that next chapter, but basically Kenji said that the last line of his chapter was, all 120 acres of Oceania goes up in flames, and Juliet and Warner go with it. I don't want my babies to die, even though I know they're not gonna die, but I don't want them to be in pain and danger. Okay, I thought I had a bunch more chapters left, but I only had that one Juliet chapter. And it was so sweet. Obviously, I'm going to talk about it more. But now, I have the epilogue. And it says, at the end of Juliet's chapter, it says, and then we carry my sister home. I'm literally going to cry. Wait, let me flip the camera around. Tell me why I read this book in 3 days. I'm going to cry. Five stars. So it is more than a few weeks later, and I have fully processed my thoughts about Imagine Me by Tahereh Mafi. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. I don't care what anybody says. If you have another opinion, that's great. This book is amazing. Although, I still could have used like 100 extra pages to this book. And not a wedding scene. I don't care about a wedding. I don't care about Juliet and Warner having children. I just wanted more, because it did kind of seem like it just, the ending happened, like Emmeline died, and then there was the epilogue, where like they're about to get married, and I was just like, okay, but like, what's going on? Who is ruling the different sectors? Are there still gonna be Supreme Commanders? Like, what is going on? I don't really care that much that we didn't get that, because Ignite Me ended, like, the same way. So, I like the open-endedness of it. I don't care too much about an open-ended finale. But, I definitely could have used a couple more pages. Just, like, maybe 3 more chapters. Or even just another chapter. I just wanted a little bit more, but I'm always gonna be greedy, so yeah. I love this book, and I will be rereading it very soon, probably, like, within the next couple of weeks. I still haven't fully processed that, like, the series is over. We're not getting anything else, although Tahereh Mafi did do a live stream yesterday, and she was like, I might be writing a wedding scene. I don't really care that much about a wedding, I'm sorry, like, I'll read it, obviously, but I don't care that much. So yeah, that is it for this video. I just wanted to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've read Imagine Me, let me know your thoughts in the description box below. I would love to discuss this book. But yeah, I'm gonna go cry that the series is over and reread it a million times before the year's over. Anyway, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know. Tell me what videos you would like to see me do in the future. All my social media links will be in the description box below. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!